If you watch this, I have to warn you, don't make the same mistake I did. I'll try to forget it, but some things you can't unsee, and I can't let anyone else suffer like I have. What I'm about to tell you may sound like a strange, spooky story, the kind of shit you hear around campfires or see in movies, but trust me, this shit is real. I've lived it, and it almost fucked my life up, but I managed to escape on time to tell you this story, so you don't end up finding yourself in such a situation. So let me start by saying hi. My name is Ben. I had a normal life, boring even, and I used to live in a quiet little town, the kind of place where people knew each other's names, the postman said hello, and nothing much ever happened. I worked a boring-ass office job, spent my evenings gaming or binge-watching shows, and hung out with friends on weekends. I wasn't special. Nothing about my life was out of the ordinary. That's why I think this thing. It chose me because I wasn't expecting it. You usually never expect shit like this until it's too late. It started just after I moved into my new apartment. I found this listing on a local website, which did not have much buyers, but it was a small place, old but cozy, tucked away on the top floor of a not-so-great building that was looking ugly as fuck. I expected the same on the inside, but damn. It was far better than the outside to my relief. It was a small, beautiful, and clean space with a living room, a good-looking small bedroom, and a clean, small kitchen. I was feeling grateful that it would save money on refurbishing, which otherwise would cost me fortune. But anyways, I was excited to have my own space after years of living with roommates, and things were going well at first. I settled into a routine, decorated the way I liked, and began to feel at home. I invited my friends to hang out with me, watch Stranger Things, play video games like Mortal Kombat and Call of Duty, and sometimes even brought my GF, and we had a great time too chatting and getting close. Nothing too much happened as far as spooky shit was concerned, as I said before. But then it began after 2 weeks. I was taking a shower and I had a feeling that someone was standing behind me, watching me, but I shrugged it off, thinking it might be nothing. But this is when things started getting strange. I was having a dream while sleeping at night, where I could see a shadow figure at the distance. Then I woke up at 3 a.m. Things started getting scarier for me because from a long time, I had the same feeling of being watched every day. I realized there was something off. I heard someone call out my name outside on the living room. I thought my mind was playing tricks on me until I heard the whisper crystal clear. I decided to get up and check what's calling my name. I went to the living room outside and turned on the lights, but there was nobody present. I went back to sleepine, brushed it off as just my mind playing tricks on me. But then more strange things started happening. It was small stuff at first. A creaking noise here, a door slightly ajar when I swore I closed it. I shrugged it off by thinking that the apartment being old is doing all these kind of things. These kinds of buildings settle. I told myself they make noises. But then, one late night, I heard something that I couldn't explain. It was late, around 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was sleeping. That's when I heard a knock. Not at my front door, but from somewhere inside the apartment. It sounded like it was coming from the hallway closet. Now, I'm not the one who believed in superstitious shit, so I wasn't thinking about ghosts or anything. I thought maybe the pipes were rattling, or maybe I left something leaning against the door that fell. I want to check it out. When I opened the closet, nothing was there. No boxes, no clutter, nothing that could have made that sound. I shrugged it off, went back to bed, and didn't think much of it. But this is where shit started getting crazy. The knocking came back next night. And then night after night, always at the same time, always from the same place. It would be soft at first, like a gentle tap, but it would get louder the longer I ignored it. I told myself it was all in my head, but you can only convince yourself for so long. One evening, shit went boom. I was sitting in the bedroom when a particularly loud series of knocks started coming. It scared the living fuck out of me. I sat up in bed and said aloud, "Who's there?" Of course, there was no answer. This fucking nonsense went crazy after that night. The knocks didn't stop, but they moved. First to the bathroom door, then to the walls of the living room. It was as if whatever was making those noises was moving through the apartment, searching for something. I realized this is not a fucking prank. Instead, something was really off about this place. Because what happened next? It makes my fucking skin crawl even today. One night, I was sitting in my living room, the knocking faint but persistent. I glanced up at the window to my bedroom, and for a split second, I saw something, or rather someone at the corner of it. A face, pale and hollow-eyed, staring at me through the window. I almost shat my fucking pants when I saw such a scary face. I decided to go to the bedroom. My heart was pounding as I whipped my sweat from the head, expecting to see someone standing there. But there was nothing, just my empty apartment. I mean, what the fuck did I see? Was my mind really playing tricks on me? Or am I suffering from some serious mental issues due to moving in alone? This is what I asked myself, because there was no damn way of explaining what the hell was that. The days that followed, that face haunted me. I kept thinking I was seeing it everywhere, in mirrors, in windows, even on the screen of my phone when it went black. I wasn't sleeping much, and my friends started to notice. I told them about the knocking, about the face. They obviously laughed it off, said it was stress, or maybe I was just getting too into the horror movies we always watched. I wanted to believe them. I really did. But the things that happened were not delusion, and I knew it. There was no possible way I could make them believe, so I let it be. Then came the night where I saw something which I swear was impossible. It was a Friday, and I had just gotten back from a late-night shift. I was exhausted and ready to crash, especially while working a job which I never wanted to work. As soon as I walked in, I heard it again, the knocking, louder than ever. This time, it wasn't just a knock. It was pounding like someone was desperate to be let out. And it wasn't coming from the walls or the doors anymore. It was coming from the ceiling. Now, I lived on the top floor, remember? There was nothing above me but the roof, and no one else had access to it. My blood ran cold as I stood there, staring up at the ceiling, my heart hammering in my chest. The pounding grew louder, more frantic, and then it stopped. Silence. For a long moment, I just stood there, frozen. Then, there was a voice calling out my name. It was a whisper, barely audible, but clear as day. My eyes widened as I frantically looked around. Where was it coming from? I couldn't tell if it was inside my head or someone in the apartment, but I was alone. And then I felt it, a cold breath on the back of my neck. I spun around, heart racing, scared as fuck, but there was no one there. That's when I saw the thing that was surprising. On my living room wall, there was a door that hadn't been there before. As I said before, swear it was impossible. It wasn't there when I moved in. But now it stood before me, old, decaying, with an iron handle. I felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Every instinct in me told me to leave. But something pulled me toward it, a compulsion I couldn't resist. I reached out, hand shaking, and grasped the cold handle. I was about to make the biggest mistake of my life. I was about to open it. But the moment I touched it, the knocking returned. This time deafening, like someone trapped inside was slamming their fists against it, begging to be let out. I yanked my hand away, stumbling back, heart in my throat, and grateful that I didn't open that fucking door. The door, I could hear something behind it, moving, whispering. And then I understood. This was it. The thing behind the knocks, the face in the reflections, the presence in my apartment. It was behind that door, and it wanted out. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't dare go near the door again. But the knocking, the whispering, it didn't stop, but this time it was from the door now. I don't know how the thing managed to do it to the walls, but I did not care. It got louder, more insistent. No matter where I went in the apartment, I could hear it. My mind was unraveling. I felt like I was losing control, like I was being watched, followed, and I couldn't escape. Then the next day, what happened made me decide I want to get the fuck out of here. Because the next day, I called the landlord, desperate for answers. He was quiet on the phone for a moment before telling me that no one had lived in that apartment for years before I moved in. When I asked why, he hesitated. Then he said, because the last tenant disappeared. No one's seen him since. And the last time I spoke to him, he said something about a door which was never there. Which wasn't supposed to be there. I never saw this door in my life. Or him after he said the thing about the door. I didn't wait for him to explain. Like, what the fuck? The first house I found on my own, and this is the kind of shit I had to experience. I packed up my things immediately and left the apartment. Who knows what would happen if I stayed there. And since then, I've never gone back. They tried to contact me again, but I never picked up their call. I moved back in with my roommates. Even though I wouldn't get my own space to live alone, it would still be better than to face such things again. Sometimes, late at night, I can still remember that horrific face. I can still hear the knocking, the sounds. And I wonder if it's real, or it's in my head, whether it's looking for me. Angry that I managed to escape its grasp. So, if you see this, if you ever hear knocking from a place where no one should be, or see a door that doesn't belong, don't open it or even look at it. If you ever come across such house/apartment from sources which are unreliable, do not trust it. Don't go for it.